Hello, my name is Giwon. I'm going to talk about a new machine learning-based approach for simultaneously modeling brain and behavioral data, namely Gaussian process joint models. Recently, a joint modeling approach based on the hierarchical Bayesian framework has been applied to investigate the relationship between brain computation and cognitive mechanisms. Specifically, a component called a linking function at an upper-level hierarchy establishes a formal connection between the two modalities so that the information about the brain activity can constrain the behavior and vice versa. However, previous applications of the joint models assume a fixed functional form of the linking function, which is linear in most cases. Thinking of the complexity of the brain data, this assumption might not always be ideal. Moreover, explicit modeling of the temporal dependency of the mechanisms of brain, behavior, and cognition can help us better understand cognitive dynamics within a task. To this end, we propose a new linking function based on a Gaussian process that enables flexible, non-parametric modeling of the brain-behavior relationship. I will explain the basic idea of this model step by step. First of all, we need to introduce what the Gaussian process is. The goal of Gaussian process modeling is to estimate a function that explains data. In particular, the target function is modeled as a sample from a distribution of functions, which is characterized as a multivariate normal distribution. Gaussian processes model functions non-parametrically using an assumption that neighboring inputs are likely to generate similar outputs. The kernel or covariance function k implements this assumption. In GPJM, the linking function based on a Gaussian process models latent dynamics that govern neural and behavioral data simultaneously. Specifically, the latent dynamics are modeled as functions of time. Based on the latent dynamics, neural and behavioral data are also explained by separate Gaussian processes. The core assumption is that latent states that are closer to each other are likely to generate similar observations. The use of neural data can bring up other practical concerns, such as spatial-temporal modeling. Also, when using fMRI data, the hemodynamic lag is a crucial consideration because it causes a mismatch of the task-related timeline between the neural data and other experimental variables. GPJM can address these issues as well. Now I will introduce the setting of the task briefly. We performed a motion tracking test using a joystick. In this task, participants continually reported the average direction of randomly moving dots throughout a trial, with a subset of the dots moving in a coherent direction, to the left or the right. The degree of coherence and direction of motion probabilistically changed every second. To verify the validity of GPJM, we performed a simulation experiment. First, we simulated the data mimicking this task structure using two-dimensional dynamics specified in panel B and the spatial and temporal kernels specified in panel A. Then we fitted the GPJM to the simulated data and investigated whether or not the model can recover the latent dynamics and kernels, not only fitting to the data well. Panels A and B show that the estimated kernels and dynamics are similar to the ground truth. Moreover, the model explains the data well according to panel C. With this verification, we fitted the GPJM to a subset of data from an ongoing study. Here we report the result from a three-dimensional dynamics model. Panel E shows the estimated dynamics. The orange dots on the 3D plot and the gray bands on the time series plot show the departure from the middle areas in the embedding space, suggesting that the estimated dynamics reveal the regular states and the deviations from them. Panel F shows the behavioral response and neural data from two selected brain regions with corresponding model predictions. As in the simulation, the fitted model explains the data appropriately. Then, what could these dynamics mean? Although the interpretation of latent variables is not a trivial task, we could connect the topology of the dynamics to, for example, the patterns of functional connectivity. We clustered time points of the neural data into three groups based on the degree of functional coactivation among 16 regions of interest we used. We could find that some time points with negative associations between the left inferior frontal gyrus and other brain regions are found around the middle area of the embedding space, while positive associations are more related to the departure from this middle area. In summary, GPJM can explain neural and behavioral data assuming that they emerge from underlying cognitive dynamics estimated in a non-parametric fashion. It can also address some important issues in modeling neural data, such as spatial-temporal modeling and considering the hemodynamic lag in the fMRI data. Finally, the estimated latent dynamics could provide meaningful insights for understanding brain, behavior, and mind. Thank you very much for your attention. Please check our poster and preprint for more technical details and contact us if you have any questions.